Hi everyone and welcome to SQE1 window. We explore chapter 6 on human rights. Today we are venturing into a world where law meets dignity, liberty, and occasionally a touch of bureaucracy. We will explore three pillars: the European Convention on Human Rights, still we are part of it, although some politicians are calling that we should abandon it, leave it. The European Code of Human Rights and Human Rights Act 1998. All of it, we got it. Still, it is our framework on human rights. Remember, human rights are not just for citizens, they cover everyone under a state's jurisdiction. That's why immigrants as well, they are covered by human rights. Yes, even if you happen to be a tourist who forgot to tip the doorman at that point, you are covered, whatever it is. If you are on the land in the United Kingdom, you are covered by human rights. So kind of reassuring, isn't it? So give me your say on human rights. Should do you think it should cover everyone on the land or should cover only British citizens? So you can comment. So European Convention on Human Rights, that we call it ECHR, was signed in Rome on 4th of November 1950 and became active in 1953. It binds 47 Council of Europe member states, including the United Kingdom. Although we have left EU, but still we are part of ECHR. And it protects fundamental civil and political rights. Think of it as a sophisticated pact among neighbors to play nicely. Protocols can add new rights or amend existing ones, but beware. Signing a protocol without ratification is like RSVPing maybe to a wedding. So you get no rights at the party in that case. So rights are grouped as absolute, limited, or qualified, which we shall now unpack. So, absolute rights are the rock stars of human right. Untouchable, unflinching, no derogation. They protect life, prevent torture, slavery, and retroactive punishment. So, limited rights are more flexible. They can be suspended during emergencies, like after a terrorist attack. Qualified rights are the polite one. You can interfere with them, but only if it is legal necessary. Like if it is legal and it is necessary and it is proportionate. In other words, no abusing these rights for your own convenience, even if it is just to watch football on a public holiday. Not at all. So you need to meet certain criteria. So derogation and limitation. Article 15 allows derogation during national emergencies, but it's not a free-for-all. Four conditions must be met. There must be national emergency. Measures must be strictly necessary. They must comply with international law. And the Council of Europe must be notified. Article 16 to 18 impose additional safeguards, such as preventing abuse of rights to undermine other rights. Think of it as a strict parent making sure you don't eat dessert before dinner. So, key ECHR rights, we will try to just cover all these rights, what we got in ECHR. So, Article 2 protects the right to life, the prime of all. States must not only avoid killing people themselves, but also prevent avoidable deaths. Article 3 prohibits torture or degrading treatment. No exception, not even if the tea is bad. Article 4 prohibits slavery and forced labor, though there are exceptions for military service, civic obligations, and emergency duties. Essentially, life, dignity, and freedom are negotiable. You cannot negotiate them. You need to fulfill them. That's law, not etiquette. So, personal freedom and fair trial. We got it. You need to understand it. So, Article 5 covers personal liberty. Detention is only allowed in 6 specific scenarios, from lawful arrest to preventing disease spread. Article 6 guarantees fair trial, including presumption of innocence and legal representation. And Article 7 prohibits retroactive punishment. So if you forget to pay your library fine in 1998, you cannot suddenly be charged a criminal offense today, because however tempting that would be for the librarian or the at that point, so it will not go back at that point. So Article 8 protects private and family life, home and correspondence. Private life includes your personal identity, choices, and even sexual orientation. Family life isn't limited to marriage, it can include cohabiting partners or children. Home covers dwelling, mobile homes, and sometimes even business premises. Correspondence is protected too. Yes, that includes your work, emails, so long as you don't accidentally hit reply all, so everything goes out at that point, of course. So in Article 9, it ensures freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. You can believe in what you like, including, if you wish, you can believe in a cup of coffee giving you everything. So that's a bit absurd, but you can do it in the United Kingdom. So Article 10 protects expression, including controversial or offensive views. You can express your mind whatsoever you think. It should not be hate speech and all, but at the end, you can have your freedom of thought. So Article 11 grants freedom of assembly and association, like forming a book club or protest march and all. Restrictions are only allowed if it is lawful, necessary, and proportionate. So that's what we need to keep in mind. So no unlawful or unnecessary limitations on this right. So no marching through Buckingham Palace in your pajamas just because it's fun. No, that's not kind of freedom. You need to respect law as well. So Article 13 says that right to an effective remedy before a national authority, and that ensures domestic enforcement of convention rights, right to marry as well, to marry and to found a family according to national law, a limited right permitting derogation. Certain limitation can be there by the state. So non-discrimination, another for Article 14, freedom from discrimination in the enjoyment of convention rights, based on any sex, race, religion, or any other status of someone. So then we got European Court of Human Rights, the ECTHR. It is in Strasbourg, is where individual or states can bring complaints about ECHR breaches. It's not a fourth appeal. Think of it as the wise old aunt at a family dinner who keeps an eye on everyone to ensure fairness but does not micromanage the kitchen. It binds government, not courts, directly, although UK courts must take judgment into account under the Human Rights Act 1998. So yeah, so it got jurisdiction, individual can apply to it, it can decide interstate issues, and a national court must address violation first before cases reach Strasbourg. So it is not like straight away you jump there. So application and admissibility to ECTHR. Application can be individual or interstate. To be considered, a complaint must be found on convention rights. Involve a public authority lodged by someone with standing after exhausting domestic remedies and within 4 months. That's limitation time. Admissibility ensures that you only take serious claims, and those are heard there. So losing your sandwich at the office rate does not count unless the cafeteria is a public authority. Thankfully, it is not yet, and you cannot jump to European Court of Human Rights at that point. So there are positive obligations, and that means states must act proactively to protect these rights, not just avoid violations. For example, they must prevent foreseeable harm to prisoners or protect citizens' privacy. The European Court of Human Rights can award just satisfaction, monetary compensation if breaches occur, but it cannot directly quash UK law or court decisions at that point. Enforcement is supervised by the Committee of Ministers with advice from Directorate General of Human Rights at that point. So the court applies four principles: margin of appreciation, allowing states discretion, letting states choose implementation, proportionality, ensuring measures are reasonable, and just satisfaction, awarding fair compensation to the people who are coming there. Imagine cooking a complicated recipe, too much salt, and the dish is ruined. Too little, and it's bland. The court ensures the seasoning is just right. So it does not the point is it does not interfere in court. It gives states certain space. So states decide the method of implementation. So the awards are proportionate and they try to look at just satisfaction of violations at that point. So what is Human Rights Act that we call like one of the most important pillar of human rights in our country. The Human Rights Act brings the ECHR into UK law. Same rights, convention rights, but we have our own law. We adopted that one in our own legal system. Courts can grant remedies domestically. ECHR, International Treaty, and Human Rights Act 1998, domestic law. Section 3 mandates interpreting legislation compatibility with rights. Section 4 allows declaration of incompatibility if legislation conflicts with rights. But remember, that's what you need to remember, and I talked about it in previous slides. Parliament still has the final say. It's a democracy. So it's not courts who will decide on human rights and its compatibility with other laws. It is Parliament which will decide at the end. So ministers may amend legislation via Section 10 when needed. They can just amend it at that point. Parliament can amend or statutory instrument can be issued to amend things, but the sole prerogative remains in the hand of Parliament, not in the hand of courts. So that's what you need to keep in mind. Section 3, once again, I say court must interpret legislation compatibility with convention rights so far as it is possible to do so. If it is not, they can only declare incompatibility, but they cannot make the law ineffective. That right stays with the Parliament. So, public authorities like local councils, hospitals, and police are public authorities, and they must act in accordance with the Convention rights under Section 6. Victims may bring claims under Section 7, and courts may grant remedies under Section 8. Damages require a high threshold, so minor annoyance like delayed post won't cut it. Even if it is a birthday card from your mom at that point. So it only it only deals with the serious matters only. So human rights in UK are protected through the ECHR, enforced by the European Court of Human Rights and embedded domestically via the Human Rights Act. Rights can be absolute, limited, or qualified, with remedies available internationally and nationally. Remember, respecting human dignity, liberty, and equality isn't just law, it is the backbone of civilized society. So that's what you need to keep in mind once you are attempting human rights questions in your SQE. Try to just differentiate between absolute right, the concept of non-derogable rights and all. So these kind of things you should keep in mind, and I wish you all the best with human rights today and in future. Ta-da!